here. My apologies for the delayed response. Things have been really crazy on my end the last several days, but everything's a little more stable now, so I'll definitely be more timely in my communication and responsiveness. So thanks for your interest. I've had a chance to look at your website and some other things you have going on online. And I definitely think, there are some areas of opportunity, but there are some things that I like that you're doing. So, and just kind of give you a heads up, I know the role on Upwork is just for link building, but when I look at SEO, I look at all aspects. So definitely I'll kind of go through those in this video. So the first thing, I'll start with your website. So definitely best practice having your call to action here at the top right corner. You have the lead capture here, so very easy to find. One thing I would consider, like I mentioned in the first video, I've worked quite a bit with lawyers, and it seems like, when I started, this was kind of new, this whole idea of a free consultation. At least online it was. It seems like now everyone else is doing it. So, it works, but maybe long term, think about how can you provide them more value up front so that they say, hey, this guy and his team, they're really kind of set apart from some of the other firms I'm looking at. And, one way you could do this is, I don't want to say ebook, but maybe if you could give someone who maybe is facing, burglary charges or any of these other charges, maybe like a cheat sheet on what to do, what not to do. I think that would be, I haven't seen that before, but I think that would be really helpful. If they are incarcerated, that's something their loved one or, a significant other can download for them and kind of help them out. And that's a easy way, I'm sure with your experience, you can put something like that together fairly quickly. So that's one thing. The second thing, I didn't see any kind of testimonials from your past clients on here. So one thing that, I understand that for some of the nature of some of these cases, people might not want to have their name publicly associated with them. But, for some of these, maybe domestic violence. So, or maybe not domestic violence wouldn't be the best example, but maybe family law, would probably be the best. You could, have a testimonial here or there. I think that will really help with your conversion optimization. So, just an idea there. Now, my last thing, before I kind of get more into the backlink part, actually, I have two more things. So for your images, I've checked. What you want to do is geotag all of your images. So if you've ever taken a picture with a professional camera or a more high quality camera, you know how it'll add the coordinate to the picture automatically. And so basically, when you do that and you upload a picture to a website, Google is smart enough to look at that coordinate and kind of give it more relevancy for that area. So for example, if let's say you took all of these pictures and you added the coordinate for Orlando or, specific part of Orlando that you're in, like downtown Orlando, that would make your site more relevant for searches in that area. And that's not something that a lot of people do or know, but it definitely can work. Other than that, one other idea I have for your site is to create city pages. So you may or may not have heard this strategy. It's not a new strategy, but I'm still surprised how it's used rarely. But let's say, so we have all. But let's say you added a page for each of these different suburbs. So I have here Altamonte Springs, Baldwin Park, College Park, and so forth. And obviously you want to go through this list and figure out which of those cities are most relevant for you, where you're actually getting some clients from. and pretty much build a page that targets only residents in that city. So the strategy here is, okay, Orlando is a fairly large city, so a lot more competition, but if you're targeting these other smaller cities, there's less competition, and you have a lot better chance to rank well for those cities. Well, that'll increase your traffic, which will, um, eventually help your rankings for Orlando, because traffic and site engagement, those are both signals for SEO. So definitely something I recommend moving forward. And like I mentioned, when I worked with marketing agency before, where we focus on lawyers, that was one of our go-to strategies. So definitely seen it work well. Now, getting into the role that you're looking to hire for, so your backlinks. So I understand that you're moving in a couple of weeks, but I ran your business information through a tool called Yext, and this is what came back. So you have 93 listings that are inaccurate, and you have 42% of similar businesses in Florida that have better reviews. So I'll focus on this metric. So what that tells me is, it looks like your Google listing is, up to par, but, some of these other listings, you either don't have the listing at all, or some of your information is incorrect. And it looks like, I'm not sure what's going on here, but it looks like something is returning from Oklahoma City. And for many of these, you just don't have the listing. So the reason why this is important is that Google, their algorithms are very sophisticated, but they aren't able to assess just by going to your website whether you're a credible law firm. So one of the flags they use is looking at your different business listings on these websites. And the assumption here is that any legitimate business would have a listing on these websites, and the information would be consistent across those websites. If it's not, then that's going to throw up red flags, and you're going to see your rankings be impacted by that. And I'll show you probably the biggest reason why that's important. So I'm going to make another assumption here, is that most of your clients come from the Orlando area, so they're going to be typing in things like Orlando criminal defense lawyer, and even if they don't include Orlando, Google is going to localize their search results. So you see this pack here, it's called the Google Local Pack, and about 60 to 70% of all clicks are going to go to these 3 law firms. So you can understand it's a lot of value being included in this local pack for different search results. And this location and map consistency, it directly impacts your ability to get into this local pack. So that's why that's really important to get that fixed. It's always the first part of my link building strategy. And kind of going back to you moving in 2 weeks, if you already have access to that inbox or that mailbox, I would go ahead and submit a Google postcard. That way we can get that figured out sooner rather than later. Because sometimes, especially for some of those websites, it can take up to weeks for your information to be updated. So that's your local business citations. I understand that you're already building out or you're creating directory listings. So I'll give you a list of some additional listings that you might want to look at. But definitely that's a good idea. But you definitely want to make sure all of your information is correct. Now, finally, after this, we get all the business listings and all those things resolved, then I'll kind of shift my focus to the PR side of SEO and link building. And that's going out there, getting you guest blog opportunities, getting you interview opportunities, and getting you press release opportunities. Now, I did a search for you, and I see that you had something from the Orlando magazine or something like that. And that's a great start. That's exactly the type of opportunities that are going to help you boost your backlink profile and boost your website traffic. So I have a strategy where, I like to do manual outreach. So really building relationships with different publications and website owners so that you're featured, or probably even better, you get a guest blog opportunity. So that's what I would focus on. And that's really an ongoing process until you're ranking well for your different search terms. Search terms you want to go after. I understand that you have several different uh, kind of niches that you focus on, you and your team focus on. So once we build the target keyword list, we can, I can kind of do a baseline. But typically, let's say if it's a fresh new website, it can take up to 6 months to really see those ranking improvements. And as far as I know, in your message, you asked what you will be getting for the pricing. So, probably different than most SEO providers. I don't go for a quantity approach. So I think if, let's say, I was able to get you really 2 to 3 high quality backlinks, from really authoritative websites, those are going to do you more good than if I went out there and got you 10 to 15 from, low quality or kind of moderate quality backsite or websites. So definitely I'm focused more on value and than quantity. And some of the metrics I'm looking at long term, I know, again, this is backlinks, but really website traffic is my number one kind of focus, and kind of overlapping with that is ROI. So if we get you backlinks and then improve your rankings, that should improve your website traffic. And really, website traffic, that's where you're going to get more calls, more potential leads. So that's really the number one metric that I'm looking at. Number two, I'm looking at referring domains. So are we improving your domain authority over time? Are we improving your backlink profile over time? And then number three, I'm looking at ranking improvements. And rankings, I know that's kind of the go-to metric, but if you're ranking number one for something and you're not getting any traffic for it, then what's the point? So that's really kind of my priority. And I'll list out my pricing in my written response. Now, finally, there's one last thing, or actually a few more things. Now, for your website, so I understand you focus on these different areas of practice, and I looked at your blog. Looks like you blog regularly. Now, what I want you to think about is maybe picking a top 2 or 3 of these areas of practice, and then really building out what are called content silos. So not only just having one blog article here and there about that topic, but actually being, focused on building out several articles on a particular topic. And I know some of these are very broad. I mean, I know domestic violence or family law, that can even be broken down into sub niches. But yeah, let's figure that out, because that's really what's going to help your rankings and help your website traffic. I always say, the more content you put on your website, the better, because it gives people more opportunities to find you and give other websites more opportunities to link to you. Now, finally, a couple of closing kind of backlink strategies that we might want to try out. Number one, are you open to doing a scholarship program for local Orlando high school students? This is a great way to not only build your brand, kind of, increase your connection with the community, but we can use that scholarship page and then do outreach to .edu websites. So pretty much any university website has a .edu domain suffix, and those backlinks are very powerful. Probably the most powerful you can get. And this is really low-hanging fruit. And I would say, if you're willing to donate $500 for this per year, or, even be every semester, I think it could definitely give your backlink strategy a big boost. Number two, and it's kind of along the same idea, is if you offer an internship program for local university students or local high school students, I think that's also another opportunity that we can use to help you get backlinks. Number three, I know there are probably quite a few law firms in Orlando, but maybe if you had the top 3 to 5 firms that that you're kind of competing head to head against, and it'll be better if they are kind of doing better than you in their rankings. What I can do is go out and see which sites are linking back to them, and we can do what's called a mirroring strategy, where we go out and do outreach to those same websites and get them to link back to you. So I think that will also be a good opportunity for you. Now, that brings me to the end of the video, but definitely if you are still looking to fill this role, happy to have a chat sometime this week. Typically free in the morning, but definitely let me know. And I hope this video has been helpful for you. So take care, chat, and I hope you have a great rest of your Monday.